that voice. Okay. So welcome. So tonight's practice, we've got a strong practice tonight, strong and slow practice tonight. So it's going to be about your breath. And welcome, there we are, I can see everyone. So we're just going to start off in seated. If you've got a cushion, just bring up your pelvis so that you are comfortable. And just allow yourself to check in. Take a nice big deep breath and allow just that sigh of relaxation all the way through the body. Allow the shoulders to relax. And then as you start to bring your focus to the breath, just allow that breath to deepen. Inhale and exhale to match. And we're going to just drop the left hand, lift the right hand up to the sky and stretch all the way through. So we're really pushing the fingers into the mat and allowing the hands to stretch. You'll stretch all through the shoulders and the arms. Inhale and exhale, reach that hand forwards as if you're reaching out for somebody, just taking a stretch into the thoracic spine. Inhale, lift all the way up. And exhale, reach forwards. Swapping sides, pushing the fingertips into the mat. Inhaling, lifting, activate those fingers. And exhale, drawing that hand forwards. Inhaling, lift. And exhaling, drawing the hand forwards. And then we're just going to take some organic movement here, just moving the hands over, sweeping the hands. So we're really rotating all the way across the upper body, opening up like a big rainbow. Use this movement back and forwards, sweeping to the front, and then opening on the opposite side. So get some movement all the way into the spine. Start to work with that breath. Inhale and the exhale. Bringing the hands all the way back to center, bringing the hands to even knee. And then just lift gently through the spine, and on the next exhale, just round the spine gently, tucking the chin to chest. Opening out, we're going to come to all fours. So if you have a blanket or you want a small cushion under the knee, I've got double yoga mat on this harder floor, so it just softens my knees a little bit. And we're going to come to all fours. What I want you to do is I want you to really think about your alignment in this practice. So fingertips spread, hands evenly spaced apart, shoulder width or slightly more. Knees underneath the hips, and really press into the front of the feet. If you suffer from cramp, tuck the toes, it just helps a wee bit. And I want you to press away from the mat, really pushing into the fingers and the knuckles. And then lift the knees, and we're just going to work here. Take that gaze, so it's right in between the thumbs. And just work. So I said this is a slow, steady, powerful practice this evening. So take a break at any point. Bring the knees down. Just allow yourself to come into cow, arching, dropping that pelvis, looking forward. And then come all the way back into hovering cat. Keep that breath moving, so allow that inhale and exhale. You can always tuck toes if you want to, if it's uncomfy on the fronts of the feet in hovering cat. Really feel the core starting to work here. And then dropping the knees, untucking the toes if you wish, and allowing yourself to come back into cow. We're going to just circle the hips here. Just one way, just dropping the hips to the heels. And then taking that circle all the way back. Coming back to center, we're going to think about anchoring our hands. We're going to come into downward facing dog. So we're going to anchor our hands. And as we do, tuck the toes. Bringing the chest towards the thighs, we're going to concentrate on the lift of the sit bones to the sky. And then, and only then, when you've thought about that straightening and that engagement of the shoulders, are you going to just allow a little straightening and some gentle movement in the legs, allowing the neck to relax. Just walking, padding the feet. And then when you're ready, come to stillness and downward facing dog, keeping a soft bend in the knees if you wish. And take a nice big deep inhale. And as you do, on the exhale, really draw that core in and up. So drawing that belly in and up towards the spine. Really strong hands here. And then we're going to come up and over into plank. So we're going to lift up onto the tiptoes and come into plank. If your wrists are just saying, oh, hello, soften this with the knees. And keep that plank nice and long, so long front body, pushing into the heels, gaze to the top of the yoga mat. We're going to take some strong poses tonight, so at any point, if it's just holding a little bit too much for you and you're kind of getting to that edge, just come down and take a moment. Now we're going to push up and over, back into downward facing dog. So really bend the knees, bring kind of the belly towards the thighs, engage the hands, engage the shoulders, slow tonight, and really strong. Walking into that downward facing dog. Activate that core by the inhale and the exhale. Waving back over to plank, we're going to come to forearms. So forearms to the mat. You can, if you want, clasp the hands together and try not to lift the hips. Try to keep the hips in line with the body, but really think about pushing into the forearms. Pushing back into the heels. Knees can come down if you need to modify this at all. And really use that breath, work through this pose. Feel that strength in the body. Deep breaths. We're going to hold this for 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're just going to come to our knees and just take a child's pose. Active hands if you wish, coming forwards. Forehead towards the mat.
And then allowing a stretch through the side of the body, if you would like, by bringing the hands to the sides of the mat. Keep those hips dropped down. If you want a lower back stretch, bring the knees together and come into the traditional Balasana. Breathing into the whole of the body. You're going to rise up gently and we're going to come back to those forearms. Back to that forearm plank. Promise it's not a practice of planks all night, don't worry. And from forearm, we're going to step up to plank. From plank, we're going to come to downward facing dog. So bend those knees, belly towards the thighs, lift the sit bones, anchoring the hands and the shoulders. We're going to come up and over back to plank. Drop to forearms. Take a moment here, lengthening out that body. Back up to plank. Back to downward facing dog. Take some deep breaths in downward facing dog. And then come all the way to all fours. And then take a stretch, just an active child's pose. Rising up to stacked back position. So we come to knees again. If you need something under your knees, please just use a blanket. We're going to come into that little balance. So again, working the core. So what I want you to do is really think about that alignment. We're going to extend the left leg long. The right hand outstretched, but try not to stretch the shoulder. So allow the hand to come out and then just plug that right kind of shoulder back a little bit. Push away from the mat, engage the core with an inhale and an exhale. Draw that belly up as hard as you can. Inhale, release. Exhale, draw. Lifting, so the leg, the heel is outstretched from the body. Inhale and exhale. Gaze is down towards the mat. Neck is an extension of the spine. Inhale, and on our next exhale, draw the knee and the elbow towards each other. Inhaling, we open. Exhale, we close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Other side. Again, shake the wrists if you need. We're going to come to standing in a moment. Extend the right leg long. Really engage. Feel that stretch all the way through. Tuck the toes of the opposite foot if you need. Hand, opposite hand, left hand comes out. We outstretch and just tuck it back gently. Gaze towards the mat. Inhale here and exhale. Really draw that core in. Inhale and exhale. Inhaling and exhaling. Lifting the leg up and out. Again, we inhale and we exhale. Take a couple more breaths. And then start to round the knee and the elbow. Inhaling as you expand. And exhaling as you close. Inhaling as you expand. Exhaling as you close. Bring yourself back to flat back. Tuck the toes. Lift all the way up into downward facing dog. Walking and padding out downward facing dog. Anchor. So anchor the hands, anchor the pose. And then look forwards and step to the top of the mat. Here, placing the feet in Tadasana, bend the knees as much as you need. It may be that you take a roll up, allowing yourself to draw all the way up to standing. Remember, our practice tonight is about power. I've just realised that the terrier came in earlier, had a little roll on the yoga mat. So if you've got water at home or you want to just adjust, then please feel free. So with that firm base, we're going to anchor the right foot and we're going to step back to Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. What I want you to do is, again, strong pose here. I want you to think about space on the mat, so the right foot gently over, give your hips space. Left foot gently over, they don't need to be aligned in one big line. Hips then are allowing themselves to turn because you've given yourself space. I want you to push into your feet, really push into the heel at the front, and if it's possible, the back edge of that foot. And then bring your knee above your heel. So give yourself time to get into this pose. Real lift. So now we're going to push into the feet, but we're going to lift gently through that body, the top one. And I want you to take some breaths here. Exhaling to Warrior 2. So we open to the side. Inhale, reverse warrior. Really draw that hand towards the sky. We're going to come to side angles. So your version, you might want to just gently rest on the arm, draw the hand up and over. Or you may have a fuller practice where you drop the hand in front or even behind. If you've got a block, use the block. So I've popped a block behind the back foot and still really pressing into the whole of the foot. I'm lifting that body up, not letting my hips sink. This is where it's comfy. And then we're going to take a slow vinyasa. Plank. You might even want to come to forearm plank. Down to cobra. Lifting the hands back. Meeting in downward facing dog. Anchor the hands, the shoulders, belly to thighs, sit bones to the sky, straightening and gently stretching the legs as far as it's comfy. Stepping to the top of the mat, either hinging at the hips or gently rolling up, allowing yourself to come to mountain. Think strong tonight. So inhale when we come here. And exhale. Practice doesn't need to be fast. A lot of the really strong poses we can work really hard in. Opposite side, left foot forwards. Step that right foot back into our warrior base. Give yourself space. Really think about anchoring the feet. Another thing you can try is pushing the heels towards each other or pushing them away. You'll get different sets of muscles. You can play with that. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1. Gaze ahead. Really feel that lift of the top body. Inhaling and exhaling to Virabhadrasana 2. Relax those shoulders. See if you can drop so that knee is just aligned above the heel. Drop the back hand, inhale, lift. Reverse warrior. Take some strong breaths here. Keep pushing into those feet. And then on your next exhale, a side angle variation, I'm going to grab a block behind my foot, allowing myself some height. I am using props a lot more in my practice this week. gives ourselves space. Allow yourself space between the neck, the ear and the shoulders, so it shouldn't be kind of squashed. Allow yourself to open up that top body, and your feet are going to help you here. Push into the feet, and that allows you space to lift. If you have blocks at home for your practice, you can grab them either side. You can play with vinyasa with blocks. You can play into plank, giving yourself space. We're going to vinyasa here. Your choice. It might be chaturanga. We can practice with blocks. It gives us a little bit more space on the lower back as well. Exhaling into downward facing dog. Back up and over to plank. Take a moment here in plank. If you want to mix things up, you're very welcome to take a one-legged plank here by lifting the right knee, coming into chaturanga. It's not for me currently, but you might want to drop the knees into Bhujangasana or up dog, taking another vinyasa. Pushing up into plank and then to downward facing dog. Take a moment with the breath in downward facing dog. If you've got blocks, just pop them to one side. Bend the knees, soften them gently. We're stepping right foot to the top of the mat. We're coming to high lunge. So allow yourself again to use the feet. Lift yourself. Hands are going to come forwards into a thunderbolt high lunge. Any back issues, you can soften that back knee slightly by bending. If not, keep that back leg straight. We're going to drop the back knee. We come to low lunge. Bring the hands inside the foot and then draw yourself up with that back knee. Then block might be useful under the left hand if you have one. We're going to take a twist towards the knee, opening the right hand. Keep the breath steady and strong. Keep the body strong, so don't drop into the hip here. Again, push into the feet. Give yourself space. Come all the way back, frame the foot. Come to plank. Hold our plank here, so keep yourself aligned and even. Bring your knees down at any point, or take a child's pose if you need. We're going to drop to forearm plank. Again, keep the knees down to the mat if you need. And then we're going to come to dolphin. We're going to just lift the hips and gently walk the feet towards us. So we're almost in a downward facing dog shape. Soften the knees as you would in downward facing dog, but really push into the forearms and really inhale and engage that core on the exhale. Inhaling, exhaling. Walking the feet back to forearm. Come up to plank if you want, and take a one-legged vinyasa on the other side, or gently come down and meet in child's pose. Just to take a stretch here, a little counter pose. Take a breath. Give the spine a little bit of love when you rise up. You can kind of use a little cat-cow. Push into the hands, the shoulders, thighs to belly, hips to the sky. Soften the legs. Softening, look forwards, left foot's now going to come to the top of the mat. And we're going to come to that thunderbolt position in that high lunge. Push through the feet. Strong and steady. See if you can really take the pressure off the hips, the sacroiliac joints. Just By lifting through those legs, use our big muscles. Breath is strong. Drop the back knee. And again, push through and lift up the way. Push through the feet, lift through the hips, push through the front. No lunge. If you need a block, please do. We're going to frame the foot and lift into a runner's lunge, bringing the left hand inside that left foot. Pause here, find your base. Come to fingertips if you don't have a block. Length and strength through that back leg. And then engage that core. Inhale and exhale. And on that exhale, open towards the knee in a twist. Coming all the way back, playing with your vinyasa if you want to. So we can step to wide-armed planks. You can bring the hands as wide as the yoga mat if you want to. If you're really feeling it, you can take a little wide arm push-up. A couple of wide arm push-ups, keep the knees down. If you just want a little bit of support working on upper body strength, keep straightened back from the tailbone to the crown of the head. And then eventually taking a little vinyasa, you might even want to take a wide arm Bhujangasana, maybe a low Bhujangasana here, keeping the forehead towards the mat, lengthening, so you should never feel any pinching of that lower back. So lengthen the toes away from you if you need. I'm holding this Bhujangasana really slow and low. And then I'm going to tuck the toes, push back into child's pose, into Balasana. And just take a moment here. Again, when you come up, allow that back to stretch, maybe a little cat-cow on your way. Place your hands, coming to downward facing dog. So this is a really good opportunity. We're really checking in with these poses as well in our alignment. Hands, anchor the hands. Make sure the thumbs are also anchoring. Tuck the toes. And then on an exhale, so we inhale. Exhale, bring the belly towards the thighs, lift the hips to the sky, and then allow as much straightening of the legs if you need. You can keep them softly bent quite nicely. Allow the head to relax. Keep those shoulders engaged and active. Don't let them flop, so don't let your elbows come to the side. Allow your arms to feel really strong. And then we're going to just bend the knees, look forwards to the top of the mat, step to the top of the mat, and either hinge at the hips or gently roll up, whichever way you are comfortable with in your practice. Allowing yourself to come to mountain. Hands are gently going to come to the heart, and we're going to zip the feet together. I want you to think about lift through the front body, so lengthening that front body. Drop the shoulders. Ground through the heels, feel the heels really connecting. We're going to come to Utkatasana, so we're going to sweep the hands to the sky. Feel that grounding through the lower body at the same time. And then sink. Remember here, we're engaging the core to tuck that tailbone. Opening the arms. And we're going to keep here with a strong breath. Inhale and exhale.
drawing that core, allowing it to free, and then drawing the core in, exhale. Bring the hands gently to the heart. Now, this is where you've got some choices. We're going to take a revolved chair pose. Some will just want to just come across the way. One way I like to do this is to slice the hands down, allow the back of the arm against the thigh. And that allows me to open that shoulder and it gives me that stability of pose. If that's not available to you, just allowing a gentle twist with hands to the heart. And breathe, strong pose here. Sink a little deeper into this. Remember to tuck the tailbone in, opens that front body. And then here we're going to step, I'm onto my left side, so I'm going to step my left leg the way back. So we're in an open, so we're actually not balancing against anything. Our left hand side engaged with our hands, not revolved. And then bring the hands to the mat. Maybe come to plank. We're going to hold plank. Keep the breath moving. Keep the knees down if you need a little bit of help and support. And then either come towards the mat in Chaturanga to up dog. Come to child's pose if you need, meeting in downward facing dog. Bending the knees, stepping to the top of the mat. Again, rising, however you feel is comfy for you. Allowing the shoulders to drop as we come to standing. Zip the feet together, hands to the heart. With Anjali Mudra, I want you to think about pressing gently into the heels of the hands and drawing the forearms so they're in line with each other. Bringing maybe the thumbs towards kind of the chest. Opening the chest, the shoulders. Sweep the hands high. Inhale, lift. Exhale to chair. This time you may wish to bring hands to high prayer, avoiding plants. Or they may just want to come to low. Just where you want to be, or hands can be up. Think a little deeper. Use that breath to support your pose. Lift the arms, opening the chest, up the tailbone. Hands gently to the heart, and we'll come to that revolved chair pose. Turning to one side if you wish. Set the hands if you would like to take a deeper pose. Wherever you are, really aware of that connection. Keep that breath moving, strong and steady. And we're going to step all the way back, opening to that side, the right hand side. Again, strong and steady. If it's comfier on that back ankle, drop it at an angle here. Don't do anything awkward for the body. Really root through the soles of the feet, side of the foot, hands, opening the chest. We're going to take a last strong and steady vinyasa. If you have blocks, you're very welcome to bring them to the party. They give us lots of space to play with poses. Holding that plank, but we're strong and steady. Chaturanga if you wish, or down to cobra, up dog if you wish, or Bhujangasana, meeting in downward facing dog.
Take some breaths here. And then we're going to come all the way down to our knees. Pop the blocks, if you've got props, to one side and come to seated. And bring the legs out just gently in front of you. And we're just going to play. We're kind of winding down now slowly. So we're going to just still on that core, that strong theme. I'm going to take the hands and just interlace the fingers, point the index fingers. Really push the backs of the legs into the mat. And then allow yourself to roll down really gently and slowly. Just allowing yourself to come into a constructive rest pose. So draw the feet either side of the mat and just allow the spine gently to lengthen. Knees can come together slowly. And notice the breath. Allowing that breath to steady and soften. Noticing the energy, the movement that you've been doing. And then bring the knees into the chest. Just allow yourself to gently circle. So use your hands on the knees and allow yourself to gently circle. Or if the body just says, just keeping the knees hugged into you, do that. Just allowing that grounding of the back. And when you've just gone one way, play with the other. And then we're going to place, when you're ready, the feet firmly in line with the knees, in line with the hip points. And we're going to place our hands on the mat and we're going to lift the hips. And what I want you to do is really engage the glutes. Walk the feet very gently towards you, but really think about drawing those glutes in and up. Really feel strong legs. And then gently relax, maybe even drop the hips to the mat and allow the body just to totally relax. Push through the soles of the feet. I want you to keep drawing those glutes back in and up. Keep the knees together. You always pop a block between your knees. Make sure there's space between the chin and the chest. And then gently allow yourself to just roll back down again. Last time, just finishing off. So join us if you want to. It's nice to see Alex. Really lift, engage those glutes, really draw them in strong. And then allow yourself to just gently relax. Bring the knees back into the body and take a rock and a roll all the way up the yoga mat, just allowing yourself to come back into seated, into Sukhasana, back to the top of the mat. Taking the hands gently to the knees, allowing the spine just to soften. Just notice how you're feeling, hands gently to the heart. Take a pause. And thank you so much for joining the Power Yoga session online. I really hope Thursday Hatha will be in person, but we'll just have to see what the snow gods say. So you can unmute, you can all have a wee chit chat, you can go back to gallery view for a couple of minutes. If you would like to stay for yin and you're at home, please do, you're very welcome. Welcome to those who've joined us. And I'm going to change the tunes. Hi guys, hi Alex. Brilliant. I'm just going to stop the music. There we are. I'm going to find a yin list.
Yin Christmas is not what we're going for. Yin yoga, what's that one? No. That might do it. See how we go with that. Right. There we are. How are folks? It's nice to see you all.
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm all right. Yeah, it's lovely and snowy outside. It's just beautiful, isn't it? It's
Gorgeous. I got sent home early from work today. I feel like I'm a school kid, like having a school day, snow day.
It's yeah, all the schools were closing, and at that point I was like, no, it's not looking good. Amanda, you were at home today, were you?
No, I was in Digley Primary School doing a consultation for the Children's Commissioner. We were finishing off that second phase. So I had young carers in a base there online with the rest of Scotland. And we were supposed to be there finishing at 2:30. It was an all-day thing, finishing at 2:30. And we had a kid come into the room. I was thinking, for goodness sake. But no, he came in just to say, oh, well, we have to go home. So yeah, 2 o'clock, that was it. And apparently other schools were closing as well, so I didn't do my group this afternoon, so that was a nice relaxed enter into our yoga rather than, oh my god, can we just stop talking?
I know, and I had to do the very, very quick. This was an art studio this afternoon. You should see outside the door. Goodness me. But yeah, so there was a little bit of shuffling, and then I had to go, where's the tripod? We've had some shuffling around to do today, but do you know what? It's just nice that we can do this. So hopefully, and I'm still recording this, so this is going to be one long class. Hopefully the power yoga you enjoyed it. Slightly different to class. It was slower, but you might I hope you feel that tomorrow in a nice way. So cool, right. That's us for yin. So I don't dim my lights just so you can see me, but feel free. Yeah, so are you okay there, Christian? Are you going to head off?
Yeah, I'm just about to go now.
Nice to see you.
Bye.
You take care. So dim the lights if you want, put a candle on if you'd like. I'm going to put some soft music on, and at the end, it has been known that people fall asleep because they're at home. So if you do, I'm just going to wave quietly goodbye. So we've had a few snores at the end at home. So have a blanket ready. Brilliant. So I'm going to just mute folk. There we are. I'm just going to pop some really quiet music on. So hopefully just hear that. Maybe it's a bit too quiet. The beauty of an online system. That's it. The yin does work quite well from home, I have to say. So I have got a bolster, which I'm going to start because we're going to start with some seated meditation. So I just like to lift the hips up to give myself space and just allow your body that room. And I'm just going to get my various planning bits, which I haven't quite got them from power. Right here. I was hoping Rachel was going to be able to join us. I'm just going to fiddle a bit more. So we're just going to start off, so welcome. So just find that place where you have that comfortable seat. So in yin, we want to feel totally supported. And I want you to start to maybe soften the eyes, relax the shoulders. And I want you to visualize, and maybe it's where you are, a place that is just peaceful, somewhere that you're happy. There might be a physical feeling associated with that place. It might be a light breeze. It could even be the warmth of some sunshine. And just let that image just become your focus. And allow that image to just gently move and transform into a warm, radiant light. Allowing that warm, radiant light just to, not just to see it, but just to feel it. And I want you to start to think on the inhale, slowing that inhale. Inhaling that warm, radiant light. And on your exhale, that steady breath, I just want you to allow your body and mind just to relax. Inhaling that warm, radiant light. And as we exhale, that steady breath, allowing body and mind to relax. And tonight's practice is a little bit of, I guess, love for the neck, for the back. But I'm also going to introduce you to a yin. So there is something called yin krana, which is a yin vinyasa. It's very, very slow. But first, we're going to just look at a little bit of a lateral side flexion for the neck. So keeping either cross-legged, or you can come, oh, there's Lishka, lovely. You can come to shoelace if you want, or come into seated. So welcome, Elishka. If you just pop yourself on mute, and then that's it. Lovely. Perfect. And then what we're going to do, we're going to just gently drop the left ear to the left shoulder. If you want, you can add in a little bit of help just by the use of the hand over the ear, but don't pull. Just allow that gentle weight. We carry a lot of stress in the neck and the shoulder area. And so tight necks and shoulders can lead to quite shallow breathing. And in time, it can lead to shortened ligaments. It's really important to allow yourself some time to unwind. allowing yourself gently to let the hand go and drop the neck to the opposite side. So it might be that you're happy just allowing that stretch to happen, or it might be that you want to bring a little bit of extra support to this. Very much up to you. Just allowing that stretch into the side of the neck. I continue my journey with the osteopath, and I think their favourite saying is, "You are only as young as your spine." And it's very true. So we need to look after ourselves. Just allowing length in that stretch. And then allowing the hand just to peel and bring yourself back up. Now we're going to just take a little shoulder stretch here. So if you're comfy still and seated, that's fine. You can always change a little into deer, kind of if you need to for your hips, depends on how you're feeling. We're going to extend the right hand all the way up. And then draw the left to the back. Now, if you don't have to touch, if you have a scarf or a blanket to hand, you can actually use just the blanket behind you, which allows you just to open. So we're not after a gym pose here. We're just opening the chest and the shoulders. It might be that you're comfy, you want to drop the chin to the chest. It might be you keep this open with a little gaze to the sky. Opening that chest and breathing into that space. A lot of people, including me, spend a lot of time with the head down, hanging forwards, and that puts a lot of tension into the shoulders. So allowing this to open, allowing the shoulders to open. I put my monitor onto a block, yoga block today. Best thing ever. Should have done it ages ago. I didn't even realise I wasn't looking at it in this kind of good way. Relax as we just lengthen. You might even wish to take a little counter pose here, taking the hands forwards. And switching sides. So again, if you used a prop of any sort, so we lengthen, so we allow ourselves to stretch and open. So draping it across the shoulder is a good way of just grabbing hold of a blanket. If you were in deer, swap it to the other side. So we're practicing evenly. Deep inhalation. Deliberately lengthening the neck. So really allow the crown of the head to reach up. Big inhale and a big exhale, just allowing yourself just to, if you want to take a counter pose again, sometimes it's nice just to allow the body to settle. Sometimes your body will tell you if you want to move or not. Please move if it's telling you to move. We're going to come and play with a yin krama. So we're actually coming to standing. So I don't need any props on my mat, so I'm going to just pop that away. We will use them. What we're going to do is we're going to come up to standing, and we're going to stand wide.
I've got some lovely markings on my mat here. I'm pleased to say that I've been in contact with Lift Form, and I've got a little bit of a yoga deal for anybody who's after mats. Quite nice. What we're going to do is we're going to stand wide. We're going to root those feet. Your toes are going to point very gently out the way. And I want you to really think about standing like a mountain. So you're really solid in your foundation. And as we inhale, we're going to lift the hands, the fingertips. And first of all, we're going to just touch the thumbs and the fingertips. We're going to take a mudra. So this is a really nice, it's a wholesome mudra. It's a connection. And mudras are used very much to focus the mind, focus the body. I'm just going to breathe. And on an inhale, we're going to rise our arms gently all the way. So we're going to inhale really slowly, circling the arms up all the way to the top. Now, we will practice this a couple of times. On our next exhale, we're going to draw the hands, and then we're going to push the palms out the way. You might get a stretch through the forearms here. It's quite a good counter pose for plank, downward facing dog. And then we're going to squat. So our toes, if they need to, can come further out. And we gently sink down that wall so your tailbone is underneath you. So this is a little bit of a goddess variation. Keep that breath gently moving. Now on your next inhale, we're going to draw the fingertips to the shoulders. So you can take an inhale and an exhale if you need to. Inhaling, fingertips to shoulders. And then here, if it's comfortable, we're going to push through the legs. We're going to take the feet so they're just, the toes are tucked in a little bit. We're going to take hands to the hips and come to a forward fold. Now, you can soften knees a lot here. You don't have to come all the way down. You might just want to be pushing into the feet here, really pushing into the feet, allowing yourself just a moment, or you might be down on the mat here. Remember, this is Yin Yoga. We're being very kind and gentle. And then I want you to then push back into the heels, lift the body, take the toes gently out, and sink with the arms into Goddess. So, very gentle flow. We're going to bring our hands together. We're going to push through the legs. We're going to stand like a mountain. Really feel that connection, that grounding. Inhaling, very slowly circling the arms up. Exhaling, bringing hands to the heart. Inhaling, hands are going to come out, pushing away. Exhale here, sink into Goddess legs. Inhale, hands to shoulders. Exhale, let's straighten legs, square the feet. Hands to hips, soften knees. Allow yourself to come forwards. Inhaling back, opening the feet to Goddess. Hands to come together, stand like a mountain.
Last time, inhaling, lift. Exhaling, hands to the heart. Inhaling, hands out. Exhaling, hands to the shoulders. We're going to inhale, hands to the sky now. And we're going to draw this energy all the way, toes turned out, into our goddess pose. And then we're going to scoop the energy up all the way forwards into hands to the heart, sink back to goddess. Coming all the way back to that mountain pose, standing tall. Bringing the feet gently, heel toe underneath us. And then allowing ourselves, we're going to come to dangling pose. So we're going to come back down to the mat. So what I would suggest is the yin version of this. So your forward fold, allowing the softness in the knees. Really draw the belly to the spine. If you have blocks, bring lots of height into this. And then allow the head to hang. So we're really being very soft and gentle here. If you want to and you haven't got blocks, you can bring hands to the elbows, allow the head to hang. If it's for you, straighten the legs. I'm just keeping very soft and gentle here. And you have a wee bump with you, you might even want to be keeping the feet wide. We're going to come down to Malasana, so supported Malasana. Blocks are really good because blocks are not squishy. But if you've got a bolster, you can come to a bolster as well. So supported Malasana allows us to sink the hips underneath us. If you've got some cushions or you've got a folded blanket, just allow yourself here. Taking a moment, or if you're wanting to be a bit more active about this, you can just squat gently. Heels might not touch the floor, but if you've got other little pillows, try and get them even. You can actually prop the heel. It's actually quite nice if you can prop the heel up so that you've just got that little raise in the heel. And depending where you want to be, you can take hands to the mat, allow the hips to sink. Or you can use hands to the heart here. Be guided by how you're feeling. I'm not staying here for too long. Just enough to feel that grounding. Allow that breath just to slowly rise and fall. And then gently, we're going to just move to Dandasana. So we're going to come all the way down to the mat with legs long. Now, again, really important if you've got any lower back issues that you bring your hips up a little higher. So I've got just a nice flat pillow here. The other thing you can do is you can bring a blanket underneath rolled underneath the back of the legs, or another, if you've got the luxury of home, you've got 25 pillows around you, then just use them. And that just takes the softness and allows us that softness of the yin. Now, you can fold here into caterpillar if you want. Again, bolsters, cushions. Just be aware that if you have got any SI joint issues, that folding in caterpillar could aggravate because it's a forward fold. So allow yourself maybe to use the pillows to weight your legs with something under the back of the legs, and allow yourself just to take this pose, maybe with palms facing up, with the body upright. If you're perfectly fine and you love this as a forward fold, and I'm afraid I'm not in class to help you with a little bit of an extra stretch, but if you just want to, you can allow your back to round and allow yourself to come down into that lovely caterpillar shape. Lots of props, lots of pillows. Soften those knees, please, it will help. And allow yourself to just take some time here. And I've got a lovely little poem that I was reading this morning, and it was quite apt, me looking out the window at the snow, going, online, in person, online, in person. And it's by a chap called William Stafford, and it's called Yes. It's just short. It could happen any time. Tornado, earthquake, Armageddon. It could happen, or it could be sunshine, love, salvation. It could, you know, and that's why we wake and look out. Get some bonuses, he said, like morning, like right now, like noon, like this evening. I just thought that was quite nice. The snow, thinking, oh goodness, but actually it's all fine because we're here. And the caterpillar pose really is about the back of the thighs and looks towards the kidney, the bladder, the spleen and the stomach meridians. But just be careful if you're feeling any stretch through the back. And then very slowly, remember those transitions in yin yoga are extremely slow. I want you to come up and just take a short counter pose. So our counter pose is in yin. Windshield wipers is a nice one. And just relaxing to the back of your hands. Again, just allow the body to soften and gently moving back and forwards. You might not even be moving much, just allowing stretch to the hip. If it feels good, then it's good. If it doesn't, then it's not for you, so just let it go. And we're going to come to a deer pose. And in deer, it's that kind of both sides we're working on. So we can just sit up with both legs, and just if you get a blanket, just if you need it, we can modify this quite nicely. We bring one foot inside the inner thigh, and you can soften knees. So don't let the hips be pinched. Allow yourself to be supported. And this is where you go, I'm now going to have to take 5 cushions to class in person because they're really useful. Cushions behind knees, cushions to lift. Maybe you need a cushion just to support in between the foot. Find a place where you're really comfy. It's extremely important to support the externally rotating knee. So if it feels like it's off the ground, then we prop it up. Remember, you can bring hips closer together or further apart if that's comfier for you. And now you've got choices again. Always choices in the end. You can fold forwards. You might take this with a bolster, and you might just lengthen. So remember, we lengthen the spine. And it might be that you take this into a lovely yummy side twist, or you take this forwards, or you keep it upright. Adding weight, quite a nice thing to do. So it's quite an unusual pose. We've got one hip externally rotating and one hip internally rotating. The meridians we're working on here, the gallbladder, the liver, the kidney and the stomach. Remember, even though you might be a bit warmer than we are in the hall, or more blankets, if you find that edge and you get towards that edge, you just need to ease off a little bit. And our yin version of what goes up must come down. If we practice on one side, we practice equally on the other. So when you're ready, allowing that slow transition to the other side, moving your many props, moving your cushions. So we start with the sole of the foot onto the thigh, if that's comfy. And then see how you're feeling, see where your body is. For me, that's quite tight on my lower back. So I'm actually going to adjust my pose by just drawing a little bit more space. My hips are tight at the moment, so I'm going to make sure that I've got that contact. So yin is very much use the props to support our body. We're not wanting to push our body. So softening the pose. And then I've got my weighted beanbag here. Just allows, and again, you choose whether you want to keep this pose upright whether you choose to take a forward fold or whether you choose to take this into a side bend, coming gently down. Keeping that breath moving. And we're going to come all the way, slowly transitioning out of the pose. And we're going to come to a counter pose now. I've got a number of counter poses in yin, and tabletop is one of them. So if you have a blanket and you want to soften your knees, please do. I've got a couple of yoga mats here tonight, so I'm nicely padded underneath my knees. And what we're doing is we're bringing the symmetry back to the pose. We're bringing the core back into this pose here. If your body says that it needs it, take a cat-cow. Gently flexing the spine. Really slow and gentle. Pause. Allowing you to feel the whole of the spine move when you come into that cat. So really feel the pose as you drop into cow. Feel the movement in the spine. And as you come into cat, really slowly arch back and feel each vertebrae moving. Coming back into that stacked shoulder position. And then we're going to come to reverse pigeon. It's also called eye of the needle, which is confusing with threading the needle, but it's we've got two options here. You can come all the way down to your back, which is fine, or you can work with a wall. So you can actually work with a wall on your back as well. So there's so many options. So reverse pigeon is when we come down to our backs and we allow this foot to come across. Now, there's lots of things you can do here, and I'm going to show the upright and reclined version too. You can bring a block or a cushion under that foot, so you're bringing the earth up to you. This is not about resistance, this is about allowing just a gentle opening. You can keep the hands on the belly or the mat. If you want to take a bit more of a yang posture in this, you can bring, you can thread, you can
stretch the leg. You can even, if you've got a really handy wall, this is why it's quite nice rolling around your own floor at home sometimes, is you can bring your foot to the wall and just allow that grounding of the hips. It's very calming, very centering thing to do. You can also take this pose upright. And again, I've got a lovely handy wall. A little bit of allowing the spine, and play with support, see how it feels for you. So you might not need a block here, just playing. You might not need even a wall, it might be too much. Or it might just be that you've just come to the wall like me and you've gone, oh, I'm not going to do that at all. I'm going to come into butterfly on the wall. This is what your body does. It says that's what you need to do. So choose a pose and allow yourself, I've given some options for those who want a little bit more upright. And find that place where you can take a moment. And this is, if you're in the eye of the needle, the reverse pigeon, this is very much about the hips, the gluteus muscles and the thighs. Allow that breath just to ease and soften. You can even bring back a little bit of that initial visualization we did, where we are inhaling that warm, radiant light and exhaling the relaxation, the softness, allowing your body to sink and melt, broadening the chest. Feeling the connection points. If you are in this reclined position, the spine. If you're upright, where you are connected to the earth. And then allow yourself to unravel slowly. Take a moment to pause. I want you to center. I want you to think about the feet. Wherever you are, seated or reclined, those connection points and that centering of the body. And take a pause. Allowing that transition then into the other side. So allowing yourself to come to the other side if that involves props. Just moving things about. That's absolutely fine. Just placing carefully. And taking your variation. And again, allowing
that broadening of the shoulders if you're reclining, the relaxation of the shoulders, feeling the softness and the ease in the pose. Softness of the breath. It's very interesting where tension happens in the body, and tension happens in lots and lots of places, tissues of our body, not just in our muscles, tendons, skin, ligaments, the fascia that envelopes our tissues, and so our yin really does target that softening. And then slowly, wherever you are, coming back up. We're going to come back up to butterfly, Adho Konasana. We're going to come up to a centering pose. And again, if you've many cushions, I'm just looking for my blocks as well. The idea here is to bring the soles of the feet together. Make sure the soles of the feet for you are quite far forward, and also really important, before we get ourselves comfy, use that blanket to bring the hips up a little bit. So give yourself just a little bit of height so that our hips are not below, and just the way we tilt our pelvis is kinder, allowing lots and lots of space from the heels to the body. And then don't let the knees kind of flop out. Find support. Cushions, as many as you want. Blankets, just make sure you're cozy. And take a moment here. Now, again, you could choose to take bolsters, and you could choose to soften the back if you wish around the spine. Or you might wish to choose to keep this upright. You might wish to give your shins and the calves and the soles of your feet just a little bit of love. And remember to keep that breath moving. So in Sanskrit, the breath is pranayama. The pra, bringing forth, yan, to breathe, pranayama, to stretch or expand. And that's what's so beautiful about the Sanskrit words, is they are so descriptive of either the pose or the action. And then very slowly allowing yourself to come back up. And I'm going to come into a pose that is a bit of a Marmite posture, but method in my madness here. So we're going to come into frog pose, but if it's not for you, and you'll know, you can come into a wide knee child's pose. So we've got two options. Now the frog, and I'm going to show you how we get into this frog. We've done it once in class. We begin on our hands and knees, and we take the knees as wide as possible. So this is why I mean it may or may not be for you. By taking the knees as wide as possible, there is one option that you keep the toes touching, okay? Which gives you that kind of child's pose feeling. Some of you might prefer to keep the toes splayed gently out, so they're right angles between the upper and the heel. Now, what we're now going to do is we're going to come to our forearms. So you can see why this is called frog pose. And there's some different things we can do here. We can use blocks now to lessen pressure on the knees and support the upper body. So you can use cushions underneath you or blankets, just to alleviate too much stretching of the hips. If it really isn't for you, and we can allow the head just to come down. And I don't like saying a pose is or isn't. So what I find comfy may not be comfy for you, and what you find comfy may not be comfy for me. So I like to offer the frog pose, and you can bring the head right down to the back of the hands. Now, if there's too much pressure on the knees, soften them with blanket. Or if it really isn't a go-to pose for you, come to that wide child's pose. And again, soften that child's pose. So blanket, bolsters, blocks for the head. But come to a place where you are able to come to stillness. Yoga is not just about our physical practice, it's very much about the mind as well. And through our yoga practice and through regular practice, we can often start to see emotional states as clouds across the sky, rather than those big heavy boulders that weigh us down. Allowing the breath and those clouds to pass, face to soften and room for releasing. And that calmness is so essential for for our well-being. And from that well-being, creativity, compassion. Just being aware. And then wherever you are, I want you just to gently rise and just allow movement into the body. And if that's gentle circling of the hips, flexing of the spine, we're actually going to come to a constructive rest pose or Shavasana to just round off our practice. Or indeed, if you want to come to a seated position, then please do. So I'm going to draw myself into a constructive rest pose, but then come back up to seated. So I'm just going to take a little counter pose. So wherever you are getting ready, just to take a relaxation, I'm just going to allow my spine just, in fact, I've gone into windshield wipers. So just take some time. Maybe the knees come together in constructive rest. So wherever you are, make yourself as comfortable as possible. And unless you experience any discomfort, just enjoy that stillness. If you're in Shavasana, just a roll towel or something behind your knees, or just allow a little softness. And then just allow intention to be on that very smooth, serene flow of the breath. An exhale that's cleansing and relaxing, and that inhale that's nourishing and energizing. And take some nice deep breaths just to wake the system. And then coming back to that tension, if there's anywhere in the body that you're still aware there's maybe an area that needs a little bit of extra love, just go slowly, but just inhale and push, imagine pushing that breath towards that particular part of the body. Just giving a little bit of extra healing. And I want you to really think about relaxing from the crown of the head, relaxing the mind. So if thoughts come into your mind, just Allow them to pass. Focus on the breath. Relax the forehead, the eyebrows, the eyes. The eye sockets and that space between the eyebrows, the mind's eye, cheeks, the chin. Allow that softening of the temples, the jaw, the neck. And really allow the throat to soften. Relax the shoulder joints. Relax the elbows, the wrists, the fingertips. And just feel that energy in the palm of your hands. And let the movement of your breathing just allow everything to loosen, the shoulders, the mid-back, the lower back, the wide muscles of the back. Just allow yourself to ground completely. Softening the heart. And feel that prana, feel that breath. A long, slow, deep inhale. And a big exhale. And then wherever you are, allow a little movement to the body. Allow maybe fingers, toes. Allow yourself to just gently wake and move. And taking time, allow yourself to come all the way back up to seated. Maybe a roll of the neck. Maybe a shrug of the shoulders, a stretch of the arms. Maybe even a gentle twist as you come back up. Take some movement, maybe a big stretch. Lovely big stretch. Bringing the hands gently to the heart. Closing the practice with an inhale and exhale. And thank you very much. Thank you for joining me online tonight. I'm just going to pause the music and thank you. I hope you enjoyed the practice. It's recording, so I'll pop it online, or you can have the Zoom code and I can send that. And I hope to see everybody in person on Thursday. Really do. But if the roads are horrible, I've just no idea. We've got this option, but enjoy. And hope you have a lovely drift away to, you don't have to do any driving or anything. So enjoy your evening. Take care. Just stop the recording.